asked the man with the briefcase, walking directly toward her. Kayla's heart raced. Problems with the law? Her mother's debts? She nodded, unable to find her voice. The whole restaurant watched. Rosu in the kitchen, her boss Wim behind the counter, the few morning customers frozen mid-bite. "My name is Dr. Hamilton, attorney for the Whitmore family. I need to speak with you about Mr. Kayla felt the floor tilt. Robert, the quiet old man at table 7 who came every morning at 7:30, ordered black coffee and wheat toast, and whispered good morning. The 78-year-old she'd grown inexplicably fond of. She asked. Dr. Hamilton bowed his head. "Mr. Whitmore passed away last night in his sleep." Kayla's legs buckled. Robert was gone, the man whose toast she cut when his hand shook, whose loneliness she sensed, who tipped exactly $2 every day because it mattered to him. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I don't understand why he left something for you," Dr. Hamilton said, opening the folder. Wim hurried over. "Kayla, what's going on?" "On the contrary," Dr. Hamilton said with a faint smile. Kayla untied her apron, glancing around the cafe where she'd worked 4 years. The contempt, the whispers, the looks. And Robert, who had treated her with dignity. She had no idea her life was about to change forever. Dr. Hamilton's office filled 3 floors of a marble and glass tower. Kayla felt small walking through its silent corridors. Inside the conference room waited 3 people. Victoria Whitmore sat stiffly, elegance sharpened by privilege. Beside her, Bradley Whitmore examined Kayla with open disdain. A young blonde woman sat quietly near them. Bradley asked, "Please," Dr. Hamilton warned gently. Kayla sat alone across the table. "The will was registered 3 months ago," Hamilton began. "Mr. Typical," Victoria murmured. Bradley relaxed. Silence crushed the room. "This is a mistake," Victoria whispered. "There is no mistake." Bradley stood. "She's a waitress." "I knew Robert every day for 2 years," Kayla said quietly. Victoria laughed. "You manipulated him," Bradley snapped. "A black waitress doesn't get 80 million by accident," Victoria said coldly. "Enough," Hamilton said sharply. Kayla opened the envelope with trembling hands. "My dear Kayla, for 2 years you treated me like a human being, not a bank account. You didn't know I owned the restaurant chain. You didn't know I watched your kindness to customers, to staff, to a homeless man you fed from your own pocket. I tested you. You never asked for anything. My family will inherit my wealth, but my businesses belong to someone who understands dignity over profit." Kayla finished through tears. "We'll contest this," Victoria said. "Mr. Whitmore documented everything," Hamilton replied. "You won't last a week," Victoria hissed. Kayla stood. The first board meeting was designed to humiliate her. 15 executives. Bradley's smirk. "Our new owners," he announced. Laughter rippled. Kayla sat at the head of the table. "I visited 7 restaurants," she began. "In 5, employees of color were confined to kitchens. Service staff were white." The room shifted. "Your Southern District profits dropped 23% after firing experienced staff," she added calmly. Peterson paled. Kayla had studied relentlessly, and she'd found an ally. Linda Chun, the overlooked CFO. Bradley was sabotaging the company. Transfers, inflated costs, canceled contracts. "He plans to force a sale," Linda explained. Robert had known. In his office safe, Kayla found years of recordings, documents, financial crimes, shell companies, laundering, theft. Bradley texted her that night, "Enjoy playing businesswoman." Kayla smiled. At the investor meeting, Bradley played confident, Victoria patronizing. She laid out the evidence, recordings played, documents appeared. "This is fraud," one investor said quietly. "Justice," Kayla replied. Victoria screamed. Bradley collapsed into silence. "I'm not selling," Kayla said, "but I'll buy your shares." "Impossible," Victoria gasped. "The FBI already has copies," Kayla added. "Family doesn't steal," Kayla said calmly. "You don't belong here," Victoria spat. "You're right," Kayla replied. The investors shook Kayla's hand. The Whitmores left in ruin. 6 months later, Kayla graced the cover of Forbes. Whitmore Holdings thrived. Diversity became its strength. At the grand opening downtown, Kayla stood beside Robert's photograph. "Kindness is power," she whispered. Marcus smiled. The best revenge wasn't destruction. The applause at the grand opening faded into conversation. Glasses clinking, cameras flashing. Kayla stepped back from the ribbon, allowing the staff to take the spotlight. She watched them the way Robert once watched her, quietly, attentively, with pride that asked for nothing in return. Across the room, Linda Chun was already deep in discussion with two regional directors, outlining timelines and projections. Marcus moved through the crowd with easy authority, greeting employees by name. This was what success looked like, Kayla realized. Not domination, not spectacle, but people standing a bit taller because someone finally trusted them. Her phone vibrated. An unknown number. "You think this is over?" the message read. Kayla didn't respond. 2 days later, the first article dropped. Not about the fraud, not about the downfall of the Whitmores, but about Kayla herself. The headline was polite, almost flattering, but the subtext was sharp. Waitress turned CEO, luck or liability. By noon, 3 similar articles appeared. Linda closed the tablet and looked up. Kayla nodded. The next week brought lawsuits. Not strong ones, not smart ones, but loud. Contract disputes, frivolous claims, petitions for audits already completed. Each bore the fingerprints of desperation. "They're trying to exhaust you," Marcus said. Kayla leaned back in her chair. "Then we won't rush. We'll be patient." She had learned that lesson long before boardrooms, waiting tables, balancing bills, knowing when to speak and when silence carried more weight. Behind the scenes, something else was happening. Employees started talking, not to reporters, not to lawyers, but to each other. Stories surfaced about things they'd accepted as normal. Schedules changed without explanation. Promotions promised and revoked. Complaints buried. Kayla asked only one thing of them. Write it down. Every account mattered. One evening, as Kayla walked through a midtown location unannounced, a dishwasher named Luis hesitated before speaking. She smiled. He nodded slowly. That night, Kayla added a line to the company's internal mission statement. Listening is not optional. The backlash intensified. An anonymous complaint was filed with regulators. A former Whitmore associate claimed mismanagement. A leaked memo, doctored obvious, circulated online. The word unqualified appeared again and again. Kayla read everything. She always had. "You don't look tired," Linda observed during a late meeting. "I am," Kayla said honestly, "but I've been tired my whole life." The turning point came quietly. A mid-sized pension fund released a statement praising Whitmore Holdings' transparency and governance. A week later, a major supplier renewed their contract early, on better terms. Then a university business journal published a case study titled "Dignity as Strategy." The tone shifted. The same outlets that questioned her now asked for interviews. Kayla declined most of them. When she finally agreed to one, she chose a small studio, neutral lighting, no dramatic music. Kayla met the camera calmly. "I was in the right place every morning for 4 years." The clip went viral. Behind closed doors, the Whitmores unraveled. Bradley's name appeared in court dockets weekly. Deals collapsed when his reputation preceded him. Victoria's calls went unanswered. Old friends became cautious acquaintances. One afternoon, a letter arrived at Kayla's office. No return address. "You didn't have to ruin us." Kayla folded the paper carefully and placed it in Robert's old desk drawer. "They ruined themselves," she said softly. Months passed, expansion continued, measured, intentional. New locations hired locally. Training budgets tripled. Turnover dropped to historic lows. Profit followed, steady and undeniable. At the annual leadership summit, Kayla stood before hundreds of managers. Some had doubted her, some still did. "I'm not here because I'm fearless," she said. "I'm here because someone once treated me like I mattered." She paused. No one laughed. Later that evening, Kayla returned to the cafe where it had all begun. Wim still worked the counter. The stools were the same. Table 7 stood empty. She ordered black coffee and wheat toast. When the plate arrived, she didn't let anyone cut it for her. She didn't need the test anymore. Outside, the city moved, indifferent, relentless, alive. Kayla watched it through the window and understood something Robert had known all along. Power wasn't taken, it was revealed. And once revealed, it changed everything.